I don't always wake up at the butt crack of dawn, but when I do, it's to record the news report. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Saturday, September 10th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Big news coming out this week is actually coming out next week is Space Marine 2. It has been 13 years since the first one came out, and my god, I don't feel older than I do saying that sentence. Um, and I loved the first game, as most people watching this will probably know. I am a huge Warhammer 40k fan and started playing very young and was a big fan of that game when it came out when I was in college. Um, Game's currently at an 83 Metacritic, which is pretty good. Very excited to see that it's getting good reviews. And yeah, it's kind of as one of my friends described it, it's kind of a reverse Helldiver. So the bugs are more afraid of you than you are of them, and you run around. You can squad up with up to 3 players. There's a whole class system so that people can differentiate themselves and expand their play styles and explore those. And yeah, overall, it just sounds like a very fun time to run around and hopefully play with a handful of friends. So the number of players, I think, like three players per session seems a little low. But it's also give or take for the people who like only have one friend who can play, and then you fill up with although you fill it up with an AI, so or a bot, so you're always playing with like 3 characters. It's just whether or not they're controlled by people. Anyway, I digress. Speaking of playing with friends, it is like fully supported on crossplay, at least from what I've been able to research. Um, so yeah, I have friends on PC. I think a lot of my friends will be playing on PlayStation, so I could play with, I could hopefully jump into sessions with my friends on PC while I'm playing on console. So very excited to see that crossplay is fully supported for this game. And yeah, I've only seen like a few things on like how on the characters and the different classes and how they break down. I'm really curious all the different customization options because you can design your own chapter or do one of your favorite known and loved chapters. Um, Speaking of launching, the game actually launched. It launches next week. It releases, I think, Monday, like late Monday for a Tuesday release. But if you pre-ordered on PC or you bought the gold edition on PC, you should be able to play it early. So I know a lot of streamers are streaming it on PC already. So, but and I got my collector's edition copy early, so I was able to plug in the disc and play through the tutorial. So anyway, I digress. Looking forward to playing Space Marine next week with my friends, and hopefully you can check that out on my stream. Astrobot also launched, everyone's favorite Sony mascot. Has finally is launched its own. This is a standalone game. I think previously it was just like launched with the console, and it was like a 3-hour experience, and it was just kind of going through and celebrating PlayStation. But now there's a new game out, and it's actually launched, and it's also receiving rave reviews at 94 Metacritic. Um, Love the first game. I love that little robot. So looking forward to hopping in and grabbing this one. I saw a video this week kind of explaining how they've turned Astrobot into Sony's new kind of mascot. Previously you had like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, but now I think Astrobot is deserving of the mantle of Sony's mascot. And I watched a video kind of how that happened. So if you want to check it out, I'll have a link down below so you can look at that. Another thing that's launching is World of Warcraft's latest expansion, The War Within, has launched. And the piece of news that caught my eye was there's a new race of like dwarven robots, which is a little bit beyond, what I would consider. I mean, Warcraft is all an amalgam of a bunch of different genres, but robot dwarves seems a little whack. But the cool thing I found out about this new race is that the XP gained for exploring areas, so you get like a minuscule amount of XP anytime you like enter a new area or find places within a zone. Um, and this new race has tripled that. So it actually makes it a viable way to like level up your characters, just run around and look at the world. So I think that's actually kind of it's almost enough to like draw me back. If you see me playing World of Warcraft, it will be the first time in over a decade But it would be cool to just kind of run around and explore and see how it's changed since I played it, like I said, over a decade ago. So, um, yeah, I think that's a really cool way to play, and so I'll have a link so you can check out and read all about that down below. The Arcane Season 2 trailer came out this week, announcing a November release date. And they're really setting up for war. So it was quite a cliffhanger left at the end of Season 1. But people are reeling from, no spoilers, but the people are reeling from what happened. So it looks like in the latest trailer, there's a war a brewing. And all your favorite characters are going to be fighting again, once again. So I'm looking forward to watching Arcane in November. After 2 short weeks being launched, Sony's latest or PlayStation's latest hero shooter Concord is gone offline. As of yesterday, it is offline. You can no longer, the servers are not live for Concord. I'm not trying to revel in this, but I think that there had to have been signals prior to launch saying like, hey, maybe this needed to bake for a little bit longer. They put it out. They're going to issue refunds to like the 25K people who bought it, which is dismally low. And yeah, it's sad to see. I don't agree with a lot of people who are saying like hero shooters are dead or we don't need another hero shooter, because I still think there is a void to be explored where Overwatch 2 has kind of dropped the ball. I know that Deadlock is getting a lot of coverage over on for Steam or Valve's hero shooter is getting a lot of coverage as it's in closed beta. It's kind of a weird place right now considering it leaked a couple weeks ago. Um, and then I and many of my friends are very interested in Marvel Rivals. I didn't think a Marvel hero shooter would be my speed because not all the characters use guns, but it actually is looking pretty cool. So I know that's I think 1.0 releasing in December. So I think that's what me and my friends are looking forward to. Uh, but yeah, so I don't think this is the death of the hero shooter. I think Concord, from my point of view, just had a very generic kind of look to it. It will still be included in Secret Level, the Amazon kind of anthology video game series, um, which is unique in that it'll live on as a single episode of a video game glorifying show. But yeah, the servers are down, and supposedly they're gonna maybe now they'll bake it a little bit more and try and find an audience and all that kind of stuff. I think the price point launching at $40 seemed a little weird considering a lot of free to play shooters or they're using tactics associated with games that were free to play. Like there wasn't a big marketing lead up to it. They kind of surprise launched it. So the fact that it was a expensive game coming out the gate compared to the competition, I think did not treat it well. So, but looking forward to seeing more on Concord. Hogwarts Legacy has sold like close to 25 million units to date. And it's funny to see the CFO say, "Hey, we should probably do that again." Uh, so, in an article this week, or an interview with the CFO, they were talking about how Hogwarts Legacy 2 is the top priority over at WB Games, which makes sense. It made $1 billion and sold. I think it was the top selling game last year. So obviously they would want to replicate that if they could. I don't expect the normal like 7-year process to make a video game, considering they probably have a lot of the same assets. So usually sequels take a little bit less time than publishing a little bit, like close to the 3 maybe 4 year cycle. So I think I wouldn't, if they came out with one next year, I would say, hey, that's probably a little bit too quick and rushed out. But yeah, I'm surprised to see or not. I am not surprised that Warner Brothers Discovery wants to do that again. So yeah, I just thought it was like, well, I don't know. It was easy to see the writing on the wall there. So, but a little interesting, and hopefully they're getting all the resources they need to make that second one. the PlayStation 30th anniversary. There was a stream this week to celebrate that, and eagle-eyed viewers kind of are hinting that maybe that we saw designs for a PS5 Pro. I also saw an analyst saying that is the PS5 Pro going to cost $650? So, a lot of PS5 Pro rumors and stuff spun up this year, but heard this week. But also PlayStation's 30th anniversary. Almost as old as I am, like Bilbo says. Anyway, I digress into moving on. Cyberpunk 2077 is being turned into a board game yet again. It has already been turned into a board game. I believe it was like Gangs of New York, New Night City, or something like that. Anyway, it's being turned into a board game yet again that's on Kickstarter. It reached its funding goal in like 10 minutes, which is how Kickstarters, I guess, do success nowadays. They set a low funding goal and then beat it in the first week, and then that gets them more press that way. So, but yeah, there's going to be characters that you can paint. All the miniatures, fully plastic miniatures for you to play with on your tabletop. So I don't know much more beyond that, what kind of actual like board game it's going to be, but I just saw the article saying Cyberpunk's 2077 is being turned into a Kickstarter board game. So yeah, I'll have a link down below for you to check out more information on that. Balaltro, everyone's favorite roguelike poker game, is potentially coming to mobile, which makes sense. I think it's really easy to play card games on your mobile phone. So one of those kind of low hanging fruit, like it's not graphically intensive and it only requires a few presses to kind of do what you're doing. So yeah, I'm actually surprised that it's taken this long, but ports take time, and hopefully the interface looks good on mobile as opposed to a bigger screen. I'm calling it the reverse Vampire Survivors, considering Vampire Survivors launched on mobile and then later came to PC and all that kind of stuff. Well, it was on PC too, but later came to consoles and all that. So anyway, I might actually play it now if it comes to mobile. I haven't actually downloaded it yet on PC. So or there'll be cross-play, cross-save, cross-progress, all that, those crosswords. So yeah, looking forward to Balaltro. Last but not least, or maybe actually last and least, the Minecraft movie trailer came out this week. As I don't know, as someone who played Minecraft, in college, like it's definitely aimed towards a younger crowd, so maybe we're not the right audience. And the everyone's in very like, I don't know. The trailer came out. It showed off Jack Black as Steve. It's got Jason Momoa in a brightly colored puffer vest. And yeah, the characters just kind of, I don't know. It coming out of like Borderlands, where the characters weren't really excited to be there. I'm feeling the same kind of vibe from the 2 minutes I saw in the trailer. And yeah, it's just doesn't seem like a movie made for me as someone who enjoys watching video game movies. The art style, it just isn't my cup of tea. And but I still think it's gonna make like $1 brazillion. Like I think it's gonna be a hit with the young crowd who don't care, who are less turned off by the art style, and it's going to be a fun romp, and every 12-year-old's going to be able to go see it. So um so yeah, I think maybe it's not for me, maybe it's not for an older crowd. The color palette and the design for the characters seemed really off. It's like it's cubic, but it's like furry, so it's got like curves to its cubicness. Like I feel like, I don't know, Minecraft maybe should have been like lean more into the pixelatedness of it, but that's not what they decided to go to. So I'll have a link down below. You can check out the trailer yourself and make your own opinions about it. But it wasn't my cup of tea. But that's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye.